Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospecting, and it's Paydirt review time again. But this time, I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently. Usually when I do a review, I focus on the ROI and all my other criteria. However, in today's video, I am purely going to focus on how difficult this Paydirt is. That's because today I am going to be reviewing the Iron Death Bag from Gold Baron Paydirt, which based on the description is going to be maybe the most difficult Paydirt I have ever panned out. The description is really scary, so I think I might have my work cut out for me today. Now at the end of this video, I will tell you my ROI or what the guaranteed minimum ROI is supposed to be, but honestly, I'm not sure I will even get the minimum ROI out of this bag, because to see how difficult this Paydirt is, I am only going to pan it out one time. Usually for a review, I pan a Paydirt a minimum of 2 times, and if it has a lot of fine gold, a 3rd time, and sometimes even a 4th. This time though, I am only going to pan it 1 time and then see how much or how little gold I recover. I want to see just how difficult this Paydirt is on one go, because anyone can continuously pan something out till they have recovered all the gold. But in one sitting, 1 time, that will tell you just how difficult this Paydirt is. But let's just flash up this scary description, go to the overhead, and check it out a little bit closer. As you saw, a really detailed description. It tells you we'll be getting 1 to 1.5 pounds of material. Let's weigh it up to see how much I got. I got 1 pound, 9.7 ounces. So something really, really difficult. They added an extra 5 ounces for me. Wonderful. Now I did use a secret shopper for this, so I didn't get it. It was my secret shopper. They gave my secret shopper a little bit extra punishment. Now again, it does tell you that there is a 0.5 gram of gold in this. It says it's going to be pretty exact to a 0.5 gram. They said, I don't remember the exact quote, but there's not going to be a whole bunch extra. Let's pour out the material. It also tells you not to handle the material unless it's wet, which I obviously don't have any common sense, so I'm actually going to handle the material. I will rinse this bag out later just because it's got so much fine material. I want to make sure I get every little drop of gold out of there. I might need it. Let's check it for magnetite. It says it's got a lot of magnetite in it, so let's see. Yeah. No, this stuff is probably half magnetite, half non. Yeah. This is why you got to use gloves when you're messing with stuff. Now, I'm not going to classify this down. As you can see, there's nothing really in there over 40 mesh. Maybe there's a little bit, but not enough to make it worth classifying it down. And he also says in his description that all the gold will be -60 and below. So I know what size the gold is. No real reason to classify it. If I see anything chunky, I can kind of just blow it out the pan. Now, this is usually the part in the video where I tell you, let's go listen to some music, pan this out, and capture some gold. But I don't honestly know how much of this I'm going to be able to capture on video, because when I shoot reviews, I typically have the pan about an arm length away from me, so there's room for a camera to sit in between me and the pan and film everything. But in this case, with really fine gold, you want the pan to be as close to your face and your peepers, especially when you wear glasses like I do, so you need the pan a lot closer, which means there's less room to put the camera in. But I'm going to try to do some footage with the camera just so you can see how difficult this is. I'll do the best I can, but don't expect a lot of panning or the entire sequence of panning. And based on the description, it should be really, really hard to pan out. So I'm just assuming it's going to be super hard to pan out. We're going to find out. Let's go get some water, pan it out. I'm going to come back. We're going to see how much gold I captured, but let's go listen to some music. Okay, I've been playing around with my camera for a few minutes, and I'm not going to be able to film me with my finishing pan because it's going to be about here, and you can't see that. So what I am going to do is I am going to pan out with my 4-stage, because the material does look like there is some blondes in it. I'm going to play around with it a little bit with the 4-stage just to see if there are some blondes, if I can get rid of those. Work some of this material down a little bit because it's a lot of material. What was it, 1 pound, 9 ounces? All right, let's get started. Listen to some music, and hopefully you'll get to see some footage. This might be a really, really short song, but let's get to it. right. I think that's going to be the end of the footage for panning. I don't think I did too bad. Yeah, what was it? 21 ounces down to probably 6 ounces in here, maybe 7, maybe even 8. You know, black sands are kind of heavy. Take out all these stupid rocks I couldn't get rid of. But yeah, I'm going to take a break for a while and then come back, start using my finishing pan, finish it up, and then we're going to go to the table and see how much gold I got. I am a little bit worried that I might have blown out some gold because I was panning a little faster and heavier than I planned on, but trying to break a habit of how you pan is really, really hard. So I really didn't want to pan the entire 2 pounds just in a finishing pan, a tablespoon at a tablespoon. This is just how I pan. So I'll be curious to see how much gold I get. So I'm not done yet. I'm going to go take a break for a while. I put it in my rusty pan so it doesn't rust up my 4-stage. But yeah, I'll be back and show you how much gold I recovered. And hopefully it's a half a gram or pretty close to it. So, all right, be right back. Well, finished panning everything out as you kind of saw. You didn't see the whole panning experience. You only saw me pan out the blondes, but you did get to see some of the panning. Now, that was some hard paydirt to go through, but nowhere near as hard as I thought it would be. I will say, based on the description, this stuff I thought was going to be near impossible, and it really wasn't that bad. Now, I will say I did cheat slightly when I was panning it off camera. Now, 2 things. One, I did use some tweezers to pick out all those silly rocks because they were driving me crazy. I didn't try to pan them out. One of the problems when you get larger rocks, like plus 10 size rocks, in all fine black sands, is they tend to sink into it and they just will not move. So I picked all those out. Now, the second part of me cheating was I did use a magnet. I went through all the material. Once I had removed all the blondes, I checked to see how fast I could get to the gold if I used a magnet. And it probably only took me about 8 to 10 minutes to recover all the gold if I used a magnet. But I put all the black sands back into it and panned it out because this was all about seeing how difficult the paydirt was. So I did put the black sands right back into the gold and then pan it out. And it took me about an hour and a half to 2 to get rid of the last of those black sands. So for a beginner, advanced, or expert panner, I would give this a hard. But if you cheat with a magnet, it will make it much, much easier. So this isn't as impossible as I thought it would be. And now let me just show you the gold I recovered from all those black sands. And there we go, a nice little pile. Now again, this bag is guaranteed a half a gram. He says in the description it might be a little over, so I'm guessing I should recover a little bit over 0.5 if I recovered all of the gold. So we'll have to see. I definitely hope I recovered all of the gold. I'm hoping I found at least a half a gram. So let's see how I did. Again, half gram guarantee. And I recovered a little bit over a half gram. 0.510 to be exact. Okay, it looks like I decided to settle, and I recovered 0.515 grams of gold from the Iron Death Bag. All right, finished calculating my ROI, writing up my review, but remember, this is all about how difficult the paydirt is. I am going to tell you the numbers, but a lot of these numbers are going to be adjusted due to the difficulty of this paydirt. But before we do that, I do need to thank today's sponsors, who are all my Patreon members who make these videos possible, including my newest members, Andrew Stankwick, David Butcher, J-Dog, and Mega Silver Stacker. So thank you very much for joining my Patreon page. And if you want to support this channel, you can check me out at patreon.com/Miller Prospecting. And now on to the review. Let's just flash up on the screen all the spreadsheet numbers. There we go. And as you can see, again, this was from Gold Baron Paydirt. It was his Iron Death Bag with a guaranteed 0.5 grams of gold. Its cost was $60, shipping was $10.85 for a total cost of $70.85. The gold I recovered, as you saw earlier in this video, was 0.515. Now again, I don't know exactly how much gold was supposed to be in the bag. He does say there will be a little bit over, but it could have been 0.525, it could have been 0.55. As I said earlier in this video, I was only going to pan it one time. I only panned it one time, and that's how much I recovered, 0.515. Now, the gold spot on the day of purchase was $104.60, making the gold I found worth $76.03, giving me an ROI of 76.03%, or on my scale, a 7.6. So a really good ROI for a half-gram bag of Paydirt. I've got no complaints about that. I do have complaints about the fun factor, though, and I'm only giving them a score of 6.6. I am actually lowering the fun factor. While I did enjoy the bag of Paydirt, I had a lot of fun panning it out. I was really thinking this would be a super hard bag of Paydirt. Before I started panning, I think I said it in the video. I know when I first started panning, I did that it might take me multiple days to pan this stuff out. It didn't. It really didn't take me that long to pan out. The blondes, I think, was about an hour, and then the black sands was about an hour as well. So it really wasn't the most difficult Paydirt. The description is a lot more brutal than the Paydirt itself. So I just didn't have as much fun as I was expecting. I was thinking I was going to be here for multiple days in my studio going crazy, pulling out if I had hair, I'd be pulling it out, but I just didn't. So again, fun factor is a 6.6. Description, I'm only giving him a 9. It would have been a 10 description, but again, I really didn't find it as difficult as it states in the description. So I'm dropping it a little bit to a 9. For quantity and packaging, he's getting a 9.5. It was over the stated amount of 1 pound to 2 pounds, and it came in a coffee bag that was double bagged. For customer service and shipping, again, he's getting a 10, a 10, and a 10 because it was shipped rather quickly, and the customer service with the Gold Baron is always excellent. Giving the Iron Death bag a total score of 8.5. So a really good score, a really good ROI, but I still feel disappointed with it. Like I said, I really went into this thinking this was going to be the hardest Paydirt I'd ever panned out, except for maybe Kinky's bag. I really thought this was going to be a super, super hard bag of Paydirt. And it just really wasn't. The most difficult part of this Paydirt is actually that I didn't classify it, and those little bitty pebbles just wouldn't move out of the black sands, and I had to use tweezers to take them out. So I felt disappointed in the bag of Paydirt, but it wasn't a bad bag of Paydirt. It's hard to explain, but when you read something like that, you think, okay, this is going to be a really, really tough, super challenging bag of Paydirt. And it just wasn't. It was a tough bag of Paydirt. It's a hard bag of Paydirt. Don't get me wrong. I rated it as a hard even for an expert panner, but the description makes it seem impossible, and it wasn't impossible. So either the seller needs to make it more difficult, or he needs to ease up a little bit on his description. But the big question is, would I order this again or recommend it? Yeah, it's a fun bag of Paydirt. If you're looking for a challenging bag of Paydirt that's not impossible, then yes, by all means, order it. If you want a good ROI for a half-gram bag of Paydirt and you want some difficulty, this is it. A 76% ROI on a half-gram bag of Paydirt is really good, and it is a really challenging bag of Paydirt. Just don't use a magnet. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Happy panning. And if you're not already a subscriber, think about hitting that subscribe button below. And if you stick around for a second, you can see all my Patreon members who make these videos possible.